the good stuff in video, yeah.
Except when I'm in it.
Shots of wine are very common in Jewish heritage.
Welcome everyone. Okay, come on in.
Even every like Saturday, when they do the Sabbath service, they have a little kiddush afterwards. They have shots of wine after every Saturday service at the church, at the temple, at the synagogue.
You're good.
I haven't been to one in years, but.
Welcome everyone. Okay, there's plenty of room. Come on in. We can like snuggle up close. Welcome to this joyous occasion. I'm Rabbi Jessica Lott, and I'll be guiding us through this experience. I'm delighted to be with you here today to welcome this little girl. Hello. Yes, she feels the pressure into this family and this community full of love. Historically, Jewish people have formally welcomed baby boys into the covenant with God, marking the occasion with celebration and circumcision. We will not be doing that today. The birth of a girl historically was met with lots of joy, but there was no official ritual or communal celebration. But in spite of this history, Jewish communities actually have a tradition of developing customs. And one of the customs that got developed was how we welcome our daughters. Some of them date back hundreds of years. And in the United States, really, since the early 1970s, there were people who were motivated by what was then a radical notion that girls and women should be included in the central rituals of Jewish life. So rabbis and members of communities delved into our classical texts and our cultural practices, and they revived and invented and adapted new ways of acknowledging our daughters with the same joy and the same religious seriousness as we do our sons. So today, our ceremony has 4 parts. We will be welcoming, covenanting, naming, and celebrating. The birth of a child calls you all together. The ceremony acknowledges a family's mutual commitment to the child, the community, and the tradition. And surrounding Jared, Ferslanda, Sebastian, and Cordelia at this time, we are all part of this covenant of comfort and protection, of love and wisdom, of family and community. As Cordelia enters the space of the ceremony, please join me in welcoming this new life. I'm going to teach you how to say welcome in Hebrew. It's Brucha Haba'ah. So we say it together, Brucha Haba'ah. And bring her to meet her great friend. Alright, and then to her parents.
You're taking her from me already?
You can have her back. She's just greeting you with honor. Today we're grateful for new beginnings, for the bond of new life that links one generation to another. Thankful for the blessings of family and for the love and care that brings meaning and happiness to our lives. We rejoice at the birth of this new little person, and we celebrate the beautiful family she's so lucky to join. I'd like to call her grandmothers up to give a blessing.
Okay, you ready? Should I say it first or should I say it instead? Just say it. Our God and God of all generations, we are grateful for new beginnings, for the bond of new life that links one generation to another. Thankful for the blessings of family, for the love and care that brings meaning and happiness to our lives. We rejoice with our children at the birth of our granddaughter.
Amen. In Jewish tradition, wine is our symbol of joy. and it is used to mark every occasion and tradition. Today, as we welcome Cordelia publicly into the Jewish people, we'll say the ancient words of blessing and drink sweet wine as we add her to the ongoing chain of tradition. Oh, we have wine for everyone. Wonderful. So everyone can grab a glass if you like. And then I'll sing the blessing. And after I sing the blessing, everybody says, Amen, and then you drink the wine. So we'll be around. Wonderful. As the wine's going around, we'll sing the blessing. And if you're familiar with the blessing, you can join in.
Let's call on the
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. We say together, Amen.
Amen.
All right. So we now wrap Cordelia in this tallit. Wrap her up. All right, Cordelia. As we prepare to enter you into the covenant of the Jewish people, we take this tallit, which is a symbol of shelter and connection to tradition. It's the tallit that your father wore at his bar mitzvah when he, as a young man, acknowledged his connection to the Jewish story. It's the tallit he wore again at your parents' wedding, when they committed to building the family you've helped them to realize. Each of its knotted tassels, that's these right here, represents a different aspect of our people's story. I like to think that this one is our promise to love goodness, and this one commands us to welcome the stranger. That one over there reminds you of the ancient tradition of honoring your parents. As we wrap you in your father's tallit, we weave you into that story. We enter you into not only your family, but also the family of the Jewish people. And thereby we covenant you to God, to Torah, and to the Jewish people.
Right here?
Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahaknisa b'vrita shel Am Yisrael.
Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has commanded us to enter this child into the covenant of the people of Israel.
Amen.
Amen.
Now, when the angels visited Abraham, according to the Bible, and announced the birth of his son Isaac, Abraham greeted the guests by washing their feet, symbolic of their status as honored guests. Water is also a symbol that's associated with women throughout the Jewish tradition. And so today, we're going to greet Cordelia, our guest of honor, by washing her feet. Ooh. And as the baby's feet are washed, we'll say another blessing so that we can sort of pour some water. Babies love this. Oh, I know. Tradition is hard.
Ask Sebastian, you got off easy.
Washing your feet. Okay, and another blessing for you.
Baruch atah Adonai mikor mayim chayim hamchayer nefesh kol chay.
Blessed are you, source of living water, who revives the soul of all living.
Amen. Amen. So, naming. That was the hard part. As far back as the 2nd century BC, Jews would give their children one name that at that time was often a Greek or Roman or Aramaic name. And during the Middle Ages, it became customary for Jewish parents to give their children 2 names. One that was their secular name for use in the day-to-day world, and then they had a Jewish name used for religious ritual. So today, we are going to give this little girl her Jewish name, inviting and challenging her to hold both parts of her identity with pride. Eloheinu v'Elohei Motenu, kayemet hayilda hazot l'avia u'ima, v'yikra shma b'Yisrael, kafira reisa, bat Jared Kislanda. ישמח האב ויצא חלציו ותגל האם בפרי בטנה. ככתוב ישמח אביך ואמך ותגל ילדתך. תמחה והחזקיה בעץ חיים, כי הובא לתורתך, למדה מצוותיה והורה דרכך. הק ליבה לאהבה וליראה את שמך. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. זאת הקטנה, כפיר הרייסה, גדולה תהיה. כשם שנכנסה לברית, כן תיכנס לתורה ולשלוחה ולמעשים טובים. Our God and God of our ancestors, sustain this child for her mother and father. Let her be called in Israel, Kafira Reisa. May the father rejoice in his offspring, and may her mother rejoice in the fruit of her womb. Let your parents be happy. Let she who bore you rejoice. Give thanks to God. God's mercy is constant. May this little one, Cordelia, be big. As she has entered into this covenant, so may she enter into a life of Torah, of loving relationships, and of good deeds.
We dedicate our child to Torah, to a never-ending fascination with study and learning. With a book, she will never be alone. We dedicate our child to Chutzpah, to never-ending growth as a human being, capable of giving and receiving love. With loving family and friends, she will never be alone. We dedicate our child to Ma'asim Tovim, to a never-ending concern for family and community, justice and charity. While she cares for others, she will never be alone.
And now, tell us a little bit about her names.
Okay. Oh. Cordelia Rose. Cordelia comes from literature, from Shakespeare. She was a tragic, but she was a heroine from one of Shakespeare's plays. Exactly. But her character was known for her. You want to put you down? She was known for her kindness, for her integrity, for her loyalty to her father. You can't go wrong with that. And then Rose. And Rose is a family name. It was my great-grandmother's name. Grandma Sylvia's mother, who I never got to meet, and really, you never really got to know.
Nope. She just born me, that's all.
But it's a family name. So Cordelia, it's kind of one of those names that Shakespeare somewhat not really invented, but took from another source. But the French version of Cordelia means heart of the lion. So in thinking of a Hebrew name, we went with the name Kafira, which means young lioness. It seemed to be a good parallel. And, it's a name that we want to give, because we want her to be, we want her to have strength and be a leader, be ferocious. And then Reisa is sort of the Yiddish form of Rose. It also starts, with
I think it's good.
with the and it starts with the letter R, which also was my paternal grandmother's name, Rebecca. So it has that sort of dual overlap. Rebecca. So, anyway, that's it.
Good job,
Really funny.
I love what you said about the heart of the lion.
That's wonderful. So, may she be strong, may she be dedicated, may she be beautiful, may she be smart, may she be fun, may she be funny, may she be kind, may she be great.
Amen.
So we conclude our ceremony, we get to the celebrating part, continuing to shower Cordelia with words of blessing. We bless this moment. There's a prayer said on special occasions and for new beginnings. And I invite you to join in if you're familiar with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'hivianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, for having kept us alive, for sustaining us, and for allowing us to reach this moment. We say together, Amen.
Amen.
And Mazel Tov. And also customary to have a celebratory meal. So
Yes, absolutely.
that's what's next.